All right. Main reason I'm coming on here is because I have been shooting with this 35 to 100, the Hasselblad standard zoom lens. Been shooting with this for several months now, and I have had it on the X2D2, which I've had the X2D2 since launch. So I've had that for, it seems like a while, but before that I had the X2D1, the Mark I version. And I shot portraits with that, but obviously I was limited because of the autofocus, single shot, not continuous. So I knew when this thing came out with the LiDAR, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to do it, especially since it was cheaper. So I jumped on it quick, too, to kind of make sure I didn't lose too much on the old one. I think I was still a little bit late on that one. I probably should have traded in earlier, but I got this. I've been really happy with it. Okay, so my thoughts on this 35 to 100. The reason why I want to jump on here and do this video is because hopefully, like some of you out there, especially with the Hasselblad, and it's been one of my reservations from pulling the trigger on this thing, even the Mark I, is because, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but all of the content I saw was people just that were given this camera for free. So there was always like, how genuine is this review? And I get it. And most of the people I trust, and I did listen to the reviews of the people that I do trust, and I've been listening to for a long time. And I feel like they are very impartial and fair. Okay. Not intentionally, but I'm actually using the light from my screen, and I just noticed how quickly that dimmed down once the screen went to sleep. So anyway, that's that. So I'll probably move this around in case it dims. Very professional video setup. Obviously, I am more of a photographer than videographer. So I have paid with this and the body with my own money, and I actually was able to check this out. I did not want to buy this thing sight unseen, because obviously when you're looking at this thing on the camera, you're looking at the pictures and the videos, it looks big. It looks big. And I just wasn't sure how this would feel, how it would balance. And I wanted to actually see it in store, and it took a while. And I knew what was going to happen, and like it's still kind of happening. It's hard to get a hold of this lens. And that's the case with a lot of like the Hasselblad lenses, like the XCD lenses. If you see something you know you want, a focal length that you know you've been kind of looking for, you just got to jump on it and pre-order it. I wasn't quite sure about this one. First off, even in my normal like Sony setups, I've never fell in love with a standard zoom. It's never been my thing. I mean, the Canon 28 to 70, that looks great, but it's just too big. The new standard zooms now for Sony, they're super tiny. The one for Nikon, super tiny. Love that. I'm thinking about it, and that's maybe a topic for another video, because of some new work that I've been getting that may seem more efficient and practical for me to go that route. Okay, but why did I get this? I also have the 90 and the 55, the XCD 90 and 55 lenses. I love those lenses. The 90 is perfect. It's because of the additional room you get in the medium format. I love it for portraits. The 55 is a great, just walking around. It's so light. I put that on this camera and I love it. That's probably my favorite lens. Even when I'm doing portraits that are out and about, whether it be in a more scenic environment like the beach or the desert, and I want to capture the scene more, I'll do that. The 90 I primarily use for like headshots and tighter situations where we're not either in studio or whatnot. This lens, I got this because you know what? I do shoot a lot in the desert and the beach, and this thing doesn't have any kind of mechanism to protect the sensor when you turn it off and switch lenses. So And I've been really good about it. I've never experienced much dust on this thing. I'm really good. I was always really good about the Sonys too. Whenever I was changing, before they actually put the screen protector, I always have a blower. I always am very diligent about blowing in between changes and making sure I'm keeping the sensor clean, keeping that back element on the lens clean. So I'm always like pretty anal when it comes to that stuff. And it's been fine, but I just wanted something like this, especially if I'm going out to the desert just by myself, just to grab a camera, just to go specifically to capture some images. This just seems really cool to have. It feels really well balanced on this camera. Again, that's probably a subjective thing. It really does. I really have no problems. It's not something I'm going to go ahead and have strapped on and on my shoulder while I'm hiking. What I do is I'll go ahead and I have like a little sling, and this fits nicely in there, and I'll put it in the sling, and it's just a much more comfortable carry if I'm hiking around. But it's great just to have this, and I know I don't have to do any changes. I know quickly if I see something, if I'm like hiking in Borrego Springs and you come up against bighorn sheep, I can go ahead. Even though this is not a telephoto, I can go ahead and get a really amazing image. I'll try and put an image of, actually, I haven't come across bighorn sheep with this lens, but even with my Leica Q343, and I still was able to crop in with those 60 megapixels and get some really cool images. But not having to do any changes, just having one lens, not have to worry about, oh, what am I going to bring? This has really been nice. And especially in elements that are dusty, or if this wind starts kicking up, or by the beach with sand, to be able to go ahead and not have to do any lens changes and just keep the flow of the shoot going. That's primarily why I got this. And it's been working really well. At this point, I don't feel like I need anything else for this Hasselblad system. I've got my 90, I've got this 35 to 100. I have been wanting to go ahead and try and play around with some astrophotography with this camera and get that 25 on the 25 prime, but I don't know. We'll see. It's for that price. I just don't think I'm going to be using that lens that much. So maybe it's just something to rent and play around with and whatnot. But yeah, overall, I don't want to make this a super long video. I'll put up some images that I've shot with this. I have also used this now since I've had this in studio, because I don't need, if I'm doing portraits inside the studio, I've got that all the way to 100. I don't need the super shallow depth of field, and it works out well. It works out really well. This is, if you're using flash, and I know there's a lot of people that, or at least on the YouTube, seem to be like moving over to LEDs. If you use flash, and I do, and I love playing around with light, this camera is just amazing. So again, you couple this with the zoom, you don't have to worry about it in studio. I'm really happy with this. To be able to kind of shoot at higher shutter speeds, even if you're outdoors, even if you're indoors too, because if you really want to, you don't want to have too much motion blur, you really want to have like capture that scene, you can go ahead and shoot at, 400, 350. And a lot of times I'll do that, especially if I want to kind of capture motion and I do not want motion blur. It's kind of cool. And, you don't really have to worry about maxing out the lights. The lights last forever because I'm not shooting high speed sync. This battery, I know people complain about the battery, but this battery has been lasting me at least a full shoot. I always have a spare with me, but it at least lasts a full shoot. I'm probably at like 25% after like a 90-minute shoot. But anyway, I don't know where I'm at on time here, but yeah, that's all. I just want to jump on. I'm going to go ahead and send some clips, show some images of what I've captured with here, both landscape and also some portrait work. Most of the portrait work, if I'm doing outside, I'm going to go shoot with the primes. But this, really love just taking this right here, throwing it in a sling, and that's it. I'll throw this in a sling. I'll bring my Leica Q3 just to go ahead if I'm going inside, popping into a coffee shop or or a bar and I want to have something with me, you know, if I want to kind of capture indoors and some cool spots like that, I'll bring that, just because it's just so easy to carry and inconspicuous. And if it's in a tighter situation or there's more people around, it just doesn't cause that much attention. This thing is going to cause attention. You know, you're going to get attention with this. It's a serious camera. It looks like a serious camera. So, yeah. All right, that's all I got. Take a look at the images. Let me know if you got any questions. Feel free to pop them on. And again, the reason why I'm getting on, I actually paid for this thing. Paid for it with my own money. And I don't regret it. I like it. I like it a lot. So, all right.